Flosstube number 15. Thank you for coming back if you have been here before, and thank you for stopping by if this is your first time here. Once again, it's been ages, since I last filmed. Life has been somewhat different. I'm not going to go into anything here, but basically my life has essentially been flipped on its end somewhat. Yeah, lots of changes. But anyway, onwards. Stitching has really kept me going actually the last few months, as well as some wonderful stitchy friends. You know who you are, but I'm very, very grateful to stitching and this community over the last few months, more than I have been before. Anyway, I did post a video yesterday, well, yesterday when I'm filming this. Whether this will go up today, I don't know, we'll see. But yes, I filmed a video yesterday that I filmed throughout 2022, which is basically using an app called 1 second every day, I think it's called. And basically you film a second of your life every day. I'm sure people use it for various things, but I decided just literally to use it for keeping a record of my stitching over the year. So I literally filmed a second every day of what I was stitching on. I will be honest, there is some days where I didn't stitch and ended up sort of putting 2 seconds worth, filming more than 1 second on other days to kind of fill in the gaps. But basically I just wanted a record of what I stitched over the year, roughly when I stitched it. So that went up yesterday, so there will be a bit of a spoiler in that to what I'm going to show you in this video, because you'll have seen essentially what I've stitched on if you've watched that. But obviously we'll go into the detail here, which would be nice. And yeah, I thought it was about time I sat down and spoke to you really. I have been ill over Christmas. Great, wonderful timing. So yeah, sorry if you can still hear it in my voice. I may have to stop for a cough every now and again, but I will edit that out. But yeah, I think we'll just get stuck in. I know it's been a long time since I last filmed. I want to say it was like early September. So yeah, we'll just see what there is to update you on. I'm also hoping, I don't think I'll get to it today because my time is much more limited than it should have been today. So I was hoping to film this video plus a whip parade, sort of end of 2022, beginning of 2023 whip parade. Pretty sure I filmed my last whip parade sort of on this day last year, so I'd like to do it as soon as I can, so we get like exactly a year on kind of whip parade. As I say, don't know if I'll get to that today. We'll see, watch this space. Apologies if I do and you end up with 2 jumpers exactly the same, video after video. Anyway, right, finishes. Let's start with some FFOs since I last saw you. So the first one I don't actually have to show you because it has been gifted. So in my last video I had not long started a, what do you call it? Not a freebie, giveaway, exchange thing, when you go to a retreat and you take something you've stitched and you pop it into a drawer and then everyone takes something home. That has a word, right? Is it exchange? Why is my brain not working? Anyway, I was going to the Floss Friends retreat at the start of October, I want to say. The Floss Friends retreat, it was organised by Sami from Lizzie's Little Loop Stitching. I'll link her down below. And also Andrea, who is she the curly haired stitcher? Okay, names are going to escape me this video. I'll link it down below. Anyway, retreat organised by those 2 girls. It was a 2-day retreat in Retford, which is sort of Yorkshire way, I think. Me and geography do not mix. I got there and that's all we need to know. Anyway, I just went for one of the 2 days and it was so good. I had the best day. I just went and stitched for a day and it was glorious. I loved it. I met some such lovely people. I met Beth Chadwick. Is she Beth Chadwick or is she Stitch with Beth? Her anyway. I met her and she is so lovely. She's exactly the same as she is on her videos. and oh, it was just so nice to meet her. It literally felt like that wasn't the first time meeting her. It was lovely. She was just so nice to stitch with and sit with and chat with. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to meeting her again next year, I hope. I'm sure you're coming next year, right? And I also met Lauren from Flossabilities and her mum. Such lovely people, just beautiful people. They were great, loved them. Also loved seeing Lauren brought some of her full coverage finishes for the finish table. So good to see them in person. They were like quilts, they were amazing. So there was those two. I also met Crafting Kirsty. I met Danielle from the Cardiff Stitcher. I'll come back to Danielle in a second. Lizzie Fisher from, is she this Mrs. Fisher Stitches, maybe? Crafting with Natalia. Who else was there? Oh, there'll be tons of people that I've missed, but everyone was so lovely. The Diddy Stitcher, Helen. Oh yeah, anyway, tons of people. It was lovely, great day. Sami and Andrea did an absolutely fantastic job of organising it. I know they've got some more retreats organised for 2023, and I'm going to the one that falls in, I want to say November. I'm pretty sure I'm down for that one. And I'm going to the full weekend next time because one day just was not enough. I loved it. Anyway, long ramble about retreats. Back to the exchangey bit. So basically we had to stitch, well, you didn't have to. If you wanted to take part, you could stitch something either autumn or Halloween themed, like a smalls exchange. That's what it's called, a smalls exchange. So everyone was to stitch something small, and then take it and then basically take something else away. So what I stitched was called the Autumn Alphabet by the Scarlet House, and I'll pop a picture in of what it looked like when I finished it, and I loved it. I was so proud of this. So I stitched this on, was it 16 count or 18 count? 18 count Autumn Leaves fabric by Claire Brown Cross Stitch Ada, who I don't think is actually trading anymore. I think she's handed her business over to someone else who I haven't yet ordered from, but anyway, we'll call it Claire Brown fabric for now. So I stitched it on that using the Called For Classic Colourworks, I think. And then I just framed it, well, my mum framed it in a sort of dark wood, really simple frame that I just thought really suited the tones, the colour tones really nicely. So yes, I finished that just in time for the retreat. I know in my last video I was talking about hopefully turning it into a pillow, but time and me were not friends. I just did the best that I could. So this actually ended up with Berni from Hooking and Stitching. I think she is on Flosstube, and I think she is Little Grey Hook on Instagram, I think. So she ended up with it. She seemed pleased with it, so I'm really hope that she likes it. I really enjoyed stitching it. It was really lovely to stitch, and I'm really happy with the end result. So I just wanted to show you as well, this is coming back to Danielle, I wanted to show you what I ended up with from the Smalls Exchange. So I pulled out a little goodie bag, which was actually filled with all sorts of goodies, not just my small, and it was done by Danielle, the Cardiff Stitcher, and she stitched for me this gorgeous little notebook. I think this is just such a lovely idea. So she's mounted it a little stitching on the front, and I've got a lovely notebook for all my stitchy notes. So yeah, really pleased with that. Thank you so much, Danielle. I kind of don't want to use it because I just want to keep it lovely and new, and yeah, anyway. So yeah, that's my fully finished object number 1. Into the objects that I can actually show you. So the next thing I finished, I was just craving finishes basically, I think. So I wanted something that I could just get stuck in with and get done fairly quickly. So I stitched on Love Letters, which is by Modern Folk Embroidery. I'll pop a picture in of where you saw it last time, which I think is probably barely started, I think. And here is my finished result. So I absolutely love this. So I stitched this on Moulin Rouge 18 count fabric, again by Claire Brown. I'll just bring that in so you can see it. And in a Flosstube ages ago, I'd shown this fabric and I was asking what to do on it, and someone had suggested doing like a red sampler, which I really loved. So this is the one I went for, and I just think it's beautiful. So I used DMC 3830, I think. Yes, 3830 to stitch this in, and I'm really pleased with it. The actual pattern has another line of board around it, which is quite busy, and I just thought I didn't want to take away from the fabric too much. So I left that off and made sure I picked a frame that you could see some of the fabric around the outside. So there's that one. Really love this one, really pleased with it. Okay, next one is the Christmas Wreath by Durene Jones. So myself and Jo from Belushi Stitches did a stitch along for this piece. It was a 4-part stitch along, which we started in August. And this was, August, September, October, November, aiming to finish in November so that it could be finished by Christmas. And I actually did it in the end after a really slow start. I'll pop a picture in of where I was last time you saw it, which I think I'd done maybe the robin and that was about it. I think I picked this up, it must have been towards the end of October, if not November. I think I got really stuck into this one, and I ended up fully finishing it. So as I say, last time you saw it, I had the robin, and I think I'd started maybe this holly leaf and maybe this orange, and it was split into 4 quarters, and basically once I got going I just cracked on with it, and I absolutely loved stitching this piece. It was so much fun. Quite a few people joined us for this stitch along. We've got a group on Instagram. There is people still going, there's people not yet started. If you haven't started it and you want to, I highly recommend stitching it because it was so much fun to stitch. So there's a little bit of back stitching just on some of these sort of branches and things around the place, and a little bit on the robin, and then there's also these little snowflake details here, which I think I meant to add French knots at the end, but I didn't bother with those. I didn't think it needed it. And then just finished this in a simple hoop. My mum finished it for me, and she's done a really lovely job, and it's just backed with some grey felt. So yeah, really pleased with that. Please ignore the state of my nails. I've just noticed those. Don't look at those, really bad. Anyway, yes, so that is by Durene Jones. I stitched this on 16 count and antique white Ada, and I just love it. And if you can see as well, the sort of green in the background is just done in half stitch, and I actually think it gives a really lovely effect to the end design. I can't stop looking at my nails now, I'm so sorry. Okay, next, those are my fully finished objects. I do have one more finish, which is a little tiny finish. Basically, as I say, I was just really enjoying finishing things, and I really wanted to stitch on something else Christmassy this year. So I actually have in my stash a few of the Dimensions ornament kits. So I just pulled one of those out and decided to get going on that. And I finished this little train. My little boy loves trains. And yeah, so this is the first one that I did. This is just stitched on plastic Ada, which I'd never used before. I actually really enjoyed doing it. And then the back stitch just completely brings this to life. So it's a Dimensions kit, everything comes in the kit. And then my plan is basically on the pattern, it tells you exactly where to cut round. And then I'm just gonna back it. I've just got some nice festive fabric, so I'm just going to pop that on the back and then make it into a little ornament for one of my Christmas trees. We actually ended up with 2 Christmas trees this year. We normally have just one in the main room, which is like very traditional reds and golds, and I love it. But basically my mum and dad always had a second Christmas tree sort of out the way in the conservatory, where it just had like all of mine and my brother's decorations that we made over the years and things like that, things that didn't have a place on the main tree. So I decided to introduce a second tree this year, which we had upstairs on the landing, for my 2 kids' decorations. And I also started a tradition with them the year my little boy was born, so my youngest was born. So this is the 3rd Christmas that he's had. So basically I take them to the shop and they choose a Christmas decoration each every year. Can be whatever they want, no theme or whatever. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. Someone just knocked at my door asking if he could chop our trees down. He had the wrong house, but I feel like I'm completely knocked off kilter and I have no idea how to put 2 videos together. Hopefully, if you're watching this, we've managed it. Anyway, as I was saying, continuing on with my story that probably no one cares about, but my 2 kids pick a decoration each every year, no rules, and those decorations are going to go on their tree, which is the one that we had upstairs this year, along with anything that they make, anything that I make that doesn't suit the main tree. So yeah, it's just a crazy free-for-all Christmas tree. This year it seemed to be covered in glittery dinosaurs, dinosaur lights, you name it, it was on our tree. It was great. Anyway, so this will go on that tree once it's done. So I have, I think, 4 more of these that I will do. I don't know whether I'll do one a year. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, that is my final finish. I feel like that guy's really knocked me. I have no idea if I'm sat in the same place or anything. Okay, let's move on to whips. So I have a decent bit of progress to show you on some of my whips. I'm going to start with my Disney Princesses pattern, which is by Happy Sloth Designs. So I'll pop a picture in of what it'll look like when it's finished. And I've been working on this for a while now. I feel like this is 2 years old now, I think. I'll pop a picture in of where you saw it last time, which I think was about 56% last time. And now I have hit 85%. So it's coming along pretty nicely. So I think last time I'd finished, I'd done the top 3 and I was working on Ariel. And since then I finished Ariel plus another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 princesses. And I've just got 2 left to do. So I'm working on Rapunzel at the moment. So she's just got her face to finish and all her very long hair. And then just moving down to the last one at the bottom. And that's it, that'll be done. So I really was hoping to finish this by the end of last year, but it just didn't happen. I've actually been keeping this as sort of a project to stitch on while I'm waiting to pick my daughter up from school and things like that. So I tend to finish work, drive to her school, park up and get 15-ish minutes to sit in the car. So I've kept this project just to do that really. So yeah, doesn't get massive amount of work each week. And I was going to try and rush to finish this, as I say, for the end of the year, but I just thought, what's the point? Keep it as your car project. It's easy, you know where you're up to, and actually it probably won't be that long before it's done. So as I say, 2 princesses to go, and then this is finished. And then once this is done, I'd really like to start on the companion piece, which is the Disney Villains piece. So that's that one. That is stitched on 16 count white aida just with the call for DMC. Okay, next one is my snail house. So I haven't done a ton of work on this one, but decent enough progress to show you. So myself and Joe from Blueshy Stitches started off doing Snail House Saturday. Was that last year? No, must have been the year before. 2 years ago, I think. We started doing Snail House Saturday where we were stitching on the Owl Forest Embroidery snails. There are 6 out in total at the minute. I have finished 4. This is my 5th one. And this is the watermelon design. So I will pop a picture in of what it'll look like when it's done. And this I'm stitching on, it comes as a kit, or came as a kit anyway. Obviously Owl Forest Embroidery are a Russian company. I know you can definitely get their PDFs from a Etsy seller, and I believe they have started shipping kits again, but I'm not quite sure how they get to you. I don't know if they go through America and then on. I don't know, I'm not sure. You can still get them. I also think their prices have gone up quite remarkably. But yeah, they are out there if you want to get your hands on them. Anyway, I'll pop a picture in of where I was last time, which I think I just done the red door and the little bit of house next to it. And this is where I'm up to now. So I've done a little bit more of the house itself. And I just love how this looks like a watermelon skin. I love it. So, yeah, not masses of progress, but I am really keen to get stuck back into these this year. Bringing Snail House Saturdays back. I think Joe's on board eventually, some point this year. So I've got to finish this one, and then I want to work on the last one, which is the pumpkin house. So yeah, that's that one. And it's nice easy stitching once you get going on that one because it's so small. Right, my final whip to show you is Dinosaur Forest, which is also by Owl Forest Embroidery. So last year, as in 2021, Joe and I decided to do Dinosaur December, which was stitch on anything dinosaur related in the month of December. Doesn't have to be this particular pattern, although this is the one that we both started. And I think we kind of want to do Dinosaur December every year now, because why not? So I'll pop a picture in of where this looks like, what this looks like when it's finished. And I'll pop a picture in of where I was last time. And I think I was kind of like a third done-ish with the main pattern design. And this is where I'm up to now. So it kind of looks finished, but it isn't quite. So I concentrated this year on getting all that middle bit filled in, which I've done, and I'm so pleased with this. I finished the last dinosaur, which is him down here. I finished that on New Year's Eve. So all I've got left to do is a border that goes around the whole piece, but it's quite a chunky border. So yeah, Dinosaur December, Dinosaur Forest by Owl Forest Embroidery. Again, this was bought as a kit. It's stitched on 32 count Belfast linen, and they call for variegated Owl Forest threads, which I just love. I don't know if you can see in like the big dinosaurs. This one looks a bit patchy, but I still really like him. It's really cool. It's really interesting though, because when Joe was stitching this, we've noticed that my colour that like this dinosaur is stitched in and this one down here is really blue, whereas Joe's is really not blue. Hers is quite green with just like a hint of blue here and there, whereas mine is predominantly blue, but I really quite like it. I like the little blue nods here and there. So yeah, that's that one. So just the border to go, and I will chat about that a little bit more when I get to plans. I really, really love that piece. I can't wait to have that done. And my mum keeps saying, are you going to put that in Rory's room, which is my little boy? And I'm kind of like, maybe. I kind of just want it for me, not in his room, but it will probably end up in his room. I love it. Okay. Right, new starts. I have just 2 new starts to show you. The first one is called Needleworker, which is by Little House Needleworks, and it looks like this. Again, Joe from Belushi Stitches wanted to stitch this, as did I. There is about 4 different Needleworker patterns. I don't think they're all by Little House Needleworks, although some of them might be. Anyway, we want to stitch them all. So that's what this all looks like when it's done. It's by Little House Needleworks. I'm stitching this on 32 count Lucan in Natural by Zweigart. And I just have a really small start on this one to show you. I've left it in its hoop, to be honest. I've just got the L and the E from Needleworker. And this is stitched using the Call for threads, which I think are Classic Colourworks. Yes, Classic Colourworks. And I think I did this in one night, so it's only had like 1 day's work, and this went really quickly. So actually, once I get going, I don't think it will take that long at all. And it was really enjoyable stitching actually. So that is my new start on that one. And one more new start to show you, which was actually my New Year's Day start. So I started this yesterday. And this is a pattern by Bothy threads from the Wrendale Designs series, and it's called the Meadow. And basically my mum has developed an obsession with like hares and rabbits, and she's always loved bees. So she was like, find me a pattern with rabbits and bees, and this is what I came up with. So I bought the pattern, gave it to her and said, either you can stitch it or I can stitch it, which was a stupid question because obviously it's for me to stitch now. So I've started this one, which is just so cute. I love it. I love the thistles around the edge. Thistles, obviously being a Scottish flower, and Scotland holds a very special place for us, so it makes it even more special, which is lovely. So that's this one. And as I say, I just started this yesterday, so it's just got a very small start. And that's what it looks like. So using the kit for this one, which has got this 14 count sort of speckly Ada, you'll have seen this before, that comes with all the Bothy threads Wrendale Designs kits. Yeah, and just made a small start on the rabbit. So that is all of my stitching since you last saw me. Sorry if you can hear banging around in the background. Right, yes, so that was all my stitching for yeah, since you last saw me, which I don't think is too bad. I'm really quite pleased with the amount I've managed to get done, especially as I feel like my two whips, the Disney Princesses and the Dinosaur Forest, are really pushing on for finishes. So I'll be really pleased to get those done because they're quite chunky projects. So I'm going to move a little bit onto plans. Myself and Jo, as always, have been planning away for our year of stitching, and we're actually kicking this year off with what we're calling Salathon 2023. So, as you know, Sal Queens that we are forever starting various stitch-alongs, and not always getting very far with them. Some we do great with. I'm actually quite pleased with where I've got to with our stitch-alongs for this year. In fact, have I finished? I think I finished 3 of them. I think this year we did Hello Petal by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I think we did Adventure Awaits by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And then we did the Christmas Wreath. And I think I finished them all. The only one I haven't finished, I will come to now, because we also did a year-long stitch-along. And also, not just our own stitch-alongs, we obviously take part in various other things that other people release, other people do a stitch-along, so we decide to join in. Anyway, Salathon 2023. The idea is, new year, let's get rid of some of our whips. As in, stitch them, not bin them. Anyway, basically reduce our whip count by stitching on some of the things that we started as stitch-alongs and just not finished. So doesn't have to be our stitch-along, can be anything that was done as a stitch-along, whether it was done released in monthly sections, whether it was something that you and a friend decided to start a stitch-along together. Basically, let's just go back to all our sales and get them done. That's what you're using January for. So we're using the hashtag Salathon 2023. Please feel free to join in, post any progress that you want us to post on Instagram, tag us in it. Let's see what you're finishing in January. So my rough plan is that I want to get started on my Under the Sea stitch along, which is by Lakeside Needlecraft and Durene Jones. So I'll pop a picture in of what this will look like when it's finished. I haven't touched this since you last saw it, but I do have it here to show you. So myself and Jo started this January last year, and we were meant to stitch on one part every month right the way through the year, and then finish off all the extra bits and pieces and the back stitch either as you went along or at the end, or whatever you wanted to do. Jo is raced along with this. In fact, she's almost finished it, and in Salathon for her, she will definitely finish it. In fact, I'm pretty sure she'll be done with that in the next couple of days. Kelly from Animal Instinct or Animal Stitches on Instagram also joined us with this, and she's finished it and it looks amazing. I'm very far behind. So I got as far as, so we did January, February, March, April, May, and I got started on June's little jellyfish here, which you can barely see. There you go. So I really want to put quite a lot of stitches into that in January. That is one of my plans. My other main plan is the Supernatural stitch along from the Witchy Stitcher. So last year I finished Cryptids and I started Supernatural, which was the companion piece, and didn't get really very far. In fact, this was as far as I got. Again, not touched this since you last saw it, so this is nothing new. Ooh. So I got as far as though I can't hold things. Those 3 done, and I started on the Changeling, and that's as far as I got. So I'd really like to get some more work in on that one in Salathon this year. So they're my 2 main goals. They're what I'd really like to get stuck in on. However, now that I'm so close to Dinosaur December finish, I've just got that border to do, and that is a stitch along because myself and Joe did it for Dinosaur December stitch along. I know it's not December anymore, but I'm tempted to carry on with that one just because I really don't want to put it away right now because I just love it, and I really want it done. So yeah, those are my 3 main plans for Salathon 2023, but there's so many that I could have picked from. I really wanted to pick up my Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 Fruits of Plenty stitch along, Snail houses, I could have gone on with those. There's so many. I've started far too much that I haven't kept up with, but yeah, those are my main plans for the year. Well, for the month, I should say. Joe and I are still finalising our plans for the rest of the year, but one thing I will tell you about is in February, we are planning on starting Spring Hair, who I forget who it is by, so I'll pop it in the description below. It looks like this, and I think we're going to do this over 2 or 3 months this year. So that's the one definite plan that we're going to do this year. The rest of our plans for the year are in talks and finalisation at the moment, so I'll get back to you once those are confirmed. I'm really going to try and get more active on Instagram again because with everything that's been going on, that has just gone on the back foot. So I'd love to start posting more on that. I'm definitely going to do my 1 second a day filming again this year because I just really enjoyed having that to go back on over the whole year. What else? Oh, Joe and I are going to start a Sal Queens Facebook page. Yes, I don't know what it's called yet. I will let you know when I do. But basically, we just thought it'd be a really nice space for anyone joining any of our stitch alongs or any other stitch alongs that you might want to tempt us with. Yeah, we just thought it'd be a really nice space for everyone to join us and share their stitching. I know there's tons of Facebook groups around, so obviously no obligation to join, but yeah, it'd be really nice to see some people on there once we get it up and running. I'm sure we'll post about it more on Instagram in the coming week or so. Is that everything? I think so. As I say, I'm really hoping to film a whip parade very soon. Yes, I don't think I'm going to get time to do that today, but we'll see. We'll see how we get on. Yes, and I'll try and do a bit of maybe do a little quick finish parade in that as well from everything that I finished last year. Yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for sticking with me and coming back. Thank you for watching my 2022 year in stitching if you've watched that video. And to be honest, if anyone else would like to do that again, well, do that this year, it's such a nice way to film your stitching progress over the year, so it'd be really lovely to see this time next year a load of 1 second a day stitching videos from 2023. Do it, please. Thank you. Happy stitching, happy new year, happy Christmas, happy holidays to everyone that celebrated. I hope you all had a wonderful time with your families and your loved ones, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye bye.